So remember in 7 through 8, he was giving us, more detail really um, behind just the steps that they took, right? Really explaining to us all the decisions that have been made, like throughout the process before they decided to move to direct action. So now we are focusing solely on 9. Okay, and 9 is heavy too in and of itself. So I'm going to read it. We're going to break it down, and then we'll go to our worksheet like we did before. Okay. Cool. All right. And I do apologize. My head has been hurting so long, so I apologize for my lack of, energy. All right. And all right, we're screen. All right. So, paragraph 9, it says, you may well ask, remember, this is Dr. King still speaking. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? You are quite right in calling for a negotiation. So, Dr. King is responding to them saying, well, direct, like, why you guys acting? So this part, the part that you see here, these questions, why direct actions, why sit-ins, marches, and all of this, like, why you guys doing all of this? Isn't like negotiation better? So these questions right here are the opposition, right? These are the questions that they ask. They're saying, well, why do you have to do all of that? Why not just negotiate? Okay. Now, this is Dr. King's response right here. And he says, well, you are quite right in calling for negotiation. Indeed, this is the very purpose of direct action. Non-violent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such a tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. When I was reading this, when I was preparing today, I kind of thought about what Delania was talking about when we discussed, well, why do they have to, why was all of this happening? Like, why move to direct action? And the fact that, she was saying, bringing to light what has been hidden. That is the same thing that Dr. King is trying to say here, saying that this direct action, this nonviolent direct action, the whole purpose of it is for them to bring to light, to create that tension that will force them to confront this issue, that will force them to look and see this is what is happening. It's straight in your face. It's like, for example, if your kid is, and all of you are, most of you are living with your kids right now. So good luck to you, all day, every day with no school. Good luck. A lot of parents have been like, oh my God, Miss Chi, we miss you. But imagine your child, from their room being like, Mom, can I get a cookie? You're all the way in your room. Like, you hear them, but you can ignore them, right? Mom, can I get a cookie? You're like, I'm not, okay, no. Mom, can I get a cookie? And then imagine them coming to your room. They stand at the door. Mom, can I get a cookie? You can still ignore them, right? You still ignore them. But now imagine them coming to you, like straight at your face, like bam, right there. Mom, I need a cookie. Mom, mom. And they start bothering you, and they start moving you and all of that. At some point, you're either going to tell them to get away, or you're going to actually give them the cookie so that they stop bothering you, right? So that is the whole point, okay? They want to create a situation in which they will confront it, okay, in which they will say, all right, we'll listen to you. Okay, you've disturbed so much, you've created all this pressure, we'll listen to you now. That is what he's saying. That is the purpose of nonviolent direct action. It says, my citing the creation of tension. Oh, sorry, I skipped one part. So going back, it seeks to dramatize, thank you, hon. It seeks to dramatize the issue that it can no longer be ignored. Once again, bringing that to light, right? It seeks to dramatize it so that you can pay attention to what's going on. By citing the creation of tension as part, I think there's another one, as part of the work of the nonviolent resistor may sound rather shocking, but I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals would rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. And that was a lot that he just said. Moving back, now he's reminding us here that he's always opposed violence, right? Always opposed that. But he knows that there is a type of constructive, non-violent tension, which he believes is necessary for growth. Okay. For example, when you're in school, I'm sure there are times in which things have been difficult for you to understand. Your brain is probably experiencing headaches. Why? Because it's working so much. But at the end of the day, you will understand what's going on. And when you do, you feel this sense of relief and accomplishment that, oh, I finally get what she was trying to say. That is this kind of tension. Okay. So he's saying here that, yes, he opposes violence, but he knows that there's a sort of non-violent way that you can put pressure on something. And it's very necessary. We all need that kind of pressure. I don't know about you, but sometimes, which is quite weird, I tend to perform well under pressure sometimes. It really depends on the situation. But being a school teacher in which you have to be flexible and things change and sometimes situations happens that you don't know about, it's caused us to experience so much of these tensions that we kind of start adapting and changing. And, you know, a lot of times you become a better person. So tension is always needed in life. So he then compares this because he's trying to tell us why. So why is he talking about tension? Why is he talking about pressure? Well, here's why I'm doing it. He knows that it is necessary for growth. And then he compares that, this nonviolent tension, he compares that to this man, Socrates. Now, Socrates was a philosopher, very ancient philosopher, who basically is the father, well, they say he is the father of critical thinking. Why? Because Socrates, through his life, always caused people to think about issues, to not ignore them, to think through them, and to escape this life, this realm of just myth, this bondage of myths, these lies. Escape that bondage of lies and half-truths. People coming and telling you that something is what it is. But to escape all of that and to move into a more creative side of life, into a more critically thinking and analyzing side of life. So he compares those two. He compares the kind of tension that he's talking about to the kind of tension that Socrates was talking about, to show that tension is very important in life. We need, this is why sometimes when you guys go through difficult difficult times trying to understand the word, or trying to answer the question. And I push you and I push you and I push you. You need that tension. You need that push so that your brain can continue to think and so that you can grow. Okay. So, Dr. King here, major point. It is very necessary for us to have tension. Now we are at the bottom right here. It says the purpose of our direct action program is to create. So now he's telling us now here, once again, let me remind you why we're doing this. The purpose of our direct action program is to create a situation so crisis packed that it will inevitably open the door to negotiation. Once again, going back to what Delania told us yesterday, the whole point is for you to see this drama, to see all of this, to understand that it is not a joke. For us to open the door to negotiation, for you to say, okay, you know what? Come sit down. Let's try and talk this through again. Let's try and dialogue. Let's talk with each other. Okay. Let's figure it out together rather than me telling you what to do. This is what they want. This is why he then says, I therefore concur with you in your call for negotiation. So yes, I agree with you that we do need to negotiate. I do agree with you. Because too long has our beloved Southland been bogged down in a tragic effort to live in monologue rather than dialogue. We look at these two things. Oh, Lord, this needs to go down because I'm trying to show you something. There are two words that he mentions here. Sorry, I don't know why that's doing that. But there are two words that he mentions here. He says monologue and dialogue. It says monologue and dialogue. Okay. Anybody know what a monologue means? The word is like somewhere down here. I'm trying to. Okay. It's not. The word is like somewhere down there. Okay. That word right there, monologue. Anybody know what that word monologue means?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna. Oh, did someone say something?
When it's only one person talking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
like
for
they
example,
to talk, but they're only talking to themselves. Nobody's listening. There's nobody participating. They just say whatever they need. They pretend they listen, but they pay no attention. So that's the monologue. I can see. Only one part talking.
Yep. So I want to show you something. So this word mono, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, that's upside down. Okay, we're not going to do that. I think you're seeing it upside down. But so the word mono means one. The word mono means one. Okay. So that end part, like log, it means talking, speech. So the word mono means one. Okay. Like monogram, like one. So the word mono means one. The word die, di, means two. Okay. So that's why in a dialogue, okay, in a monologue, if we have one person talking, how many people are talking in a dialogue? Two. Two people, usually at least two. Okay. At least two people are talking, right? But now it's not just talking, it's you're listening to each other, you're having a conversation. It's not just one person telling that person, well, this is what's going to happen, and just talking to themselves, like, what Delania was saying. So either just talking to yourself or just the only one that's talking. Nobody else is talking, it's just you. Okay? So he is trying to change the game. He is trying to change their minds. We need to move away from just this one person's view and sit down and look at these different views. Let's dialogue. Let's talk about these different views that we have. Okay, that's that true negotiation. All right. Let's now go questions. But does anyone have any questions on just the understanding of this? We understand his basic point, what he's trying to do, what he's trying to say, like his main points. That's the most important thing, is to understand his main points. Okay. It's the most important thing. So we've talked about some of these words already before. So you guys should not have any problem with that. So tension, bondage, monologue, dialogue. So you guys shouldn't have any problems with that. We move to the questions. So the first question says, what connection does King draw between tension, negotiation, and direct action? Meaning, how do they connect with each other?
Well, he explained that some kind of tension that can be positive, non-violent tension, because that we keep attention of the group, some group of people that are not listening, are not paying any attention. And this is the only way for them to gain their attention. To do some kinds of tension that make them wake up and start thinking what exactly is going on. So he explained that negotiation, it will come after that tension. After everybody feel the tension, like now we need to pay attention and see what is going on. Now we can sit down and go ahead and do our negotiation. So that direct action will bring that tension that finally is gonna end up in a negotiation.
Okay, exactly. Thank you, Delania. So that direct action, so everything is kind of like a domino, right? Domino effect. So the direct action, the negotiation, the direct action, tension, and negotiation. So because they're acting, because they're dramatizing, because it's in your face, like that child that is in your face bothering you, okay? Because of that, it creates that tension. It creates that pressure that you feel when you're faced with it right there, okay? So it creates that tension. Now that tension, like Lania was saying, will now force you, because of the pressure, will now force you to do something about it. Will force you to actually say, okay, let's actually negotiate here. I don't want that to happen again, right? Okay, awesome, awesome job. Do we understand that? That the direct action, so them acting, them protesting, doing all of that is going to cause this tension, this pressure, okay? Which will then lead you to say, okay, now I'm going to actually sit down and do something. Yeah, let's sit down and talk about it. Okay? Have you ever seen a strike? Anybody ever seen a strike?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No.
So a strike. So there was a time in California, and I love California. They be
New York, no, Chicago. Oh,
in Chicago. Yeah, what happened in Chicago?
and hotel, I think the housekeeper, they want like a best salary.
Okay. So then what did they do?
They make a strike outside the hotel. They don't want to go work before
Okay.
they answer for the demands.
Okay. So then
Then
what happened after they struck, after they did that?
they talk together. They
Exactly.
dialogue, and they go for a good
Mm-hmm.
something good for both parts.
Exactly. So that is exactly what Dr. King is trying to say. That's exactly what this question is. Okay. So that action that they did, the action that they did caused that pressure, caused tension. And because of that, you know, it led to them actually talking about it. So they didn't want something, they did a strike. That pressure that happened caused the hotel people to say, okay, let's talk about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Very good. That was a good example. All right, let's move on to the next question. So it says, how does King respond to the call for negotiation? What reasoning does King offer to support his counter argument? So how does he respond to them calling? So these other people being like, hey, why don't you just negotiate? How does he respond to them?
How does King respond to the
How does he respond to these questions here? When you, oh, that was 7. How does he respond to their questions here?
He said, yes, the negotiation will be the way to go. That's exactly what we want to go, that way. But for us to have that kind of negotiation, because we already tried before, they already had a negotiation. If you check paragraph 8 and 7, they already sit down and negotiate something, but nothing happened. So they said, yes, this is the way to go. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing this because this is the only way that is going to lead us to a really true negotiation. So far, whatever negotiation we had done before, they didn't take it serious. Now they know we're talking serious, and bottom line, that's what we want to do. We do want to negotiate. It's all about negotiation. But we need to go through those steps because we tried before and didn't work.
Yep, exactly. Just beautifully said once again before. So it didn't work the last time. Remember, they talked about, possible solutions, but, nobody took it seriously. Nobody fulfilled their promise. So then because of that, they have to do what they got to do, right? This is the way that they feel they can truly get, people to really sit down and actually care about it, right? Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to take that as we are good to continue then. So it says, which of the 4 steps of a nonviolent campaign does King discuss in paragraph 9? What details support your response? So remember, there are 4 steps. Once again, we have the collection of facts and data to determine if the injustice is there, right? Then we have the negotiation. Then we have the self-purification, and then we have direct action. So which out of these 4 steps is he really talking about a lot in paragraph 9?
Well, paragraph 9, we're talking about direct action.
Why do you say
What
that?
about direct action? He started to explain why the direct action is going to work, why they had to do that, what kind of result they want to get. So paragraph 9 is about direct action.
Yep, exactly. Very simply put, that's a very quick, short question and answer there. It's direct action, really explaining, like what was going on in that step, right? Explaining why direct action is necessary, why that tension that direct action creates is very necessary. Okay, good job. All right, now this I'm actually going to flip a little bit. Okay, so usually we go in order to do these questions, but instead I wanted to work on this question right here instead of doing this one. I know that you guys will be able to do it. You've done something like this before. It says, what words and images does King use to describe the problems of racial injustice? You guys have done things like this before, like how are they describing it? What words is he using? And what do those words kind of like make it, what do those words like show? This right here, I really want us to work together on because I know that this is something that might be difficult. It says, what are the different types of tension King describes in paragraph 9? And then why is tension important to the nonviolent campaign? Now, we probably understand this second question, but this first question is the one that I really want us to work together on. What are the different types of tension King describes in the paragraph? Let's see.
He described 2 types of tension. He described the violent tension and the non-violent tension. That's what he talking about.
Okay, so the nonviolent, definitely one. The okay, let's go back. Let me see the now I get why you say that describe violent tension, but if we look right here, the part that he said, so with let me ask you, how does he feel about violence? Is that something that he wants to do or something he does not want to do?
No, he against violence. But he said, I'm
Okay.
not trying to tension.
That's what I want to do.
Violent tension, but some tension necessary.
Okay, very good. So now he's opposed to violent tension. That was just a statement, okay? But the form of tension necessary is the non-violent one, is the constructive, non-violent tension. When something is constructive, that means it can help you be better. It's something you used to, like construction, when you do something, it helps you be better. So constructive, non-violent tension is one of them, okay? So that's one. Now, another one, which actually you might not understand, and that's why I said I want to go over this, is if you go down here, he talks about this statement. He says, just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal. So remember that critical thinking and really seeing things for truth, moving from, lies and deception to being able to think for yourself and see things for what it is. So what kind of tension is that? It says it in the text. That's another type of tension he's describing there.
It's on the mind, psychological tension.
Exactly. Psychological.
See, but you can feel.
Exactly. Psychological tension. We experience this every single day in our lives when we're thinking through things, when we're trying to solve problems. That's the brain working. My professor used to kind of make fun of me sometimes. Well, not really make fun of me, but it's just his way of joking. He used to say, when I'm like, oh, I have a headache, I can't do this. Oh my God, my head hurts. He always told me that that's good. That means your brain is working. If your head wasn't hurting, that means your brain is not working. So his point was, that your mind is actively trying to figure out and solve the problem. And that's that tension in the mind. So we have that creative, nonviolent tension, and we have that tension in the mind, right? Right? Do we see that? We see those two. So the tension of the mind, right? You thinking, you trying to solve these problems, you working through it, and the creative, nonviolent tension. Okay, they are protesting. They're doing things like sit-ins. And a sit-in, if you look at if we look at the vocab, says any organized protest in which a group of people peacefully occupy and refuse to leave a premises. So basically, for example, let's say, and they actually did this too. They did Occupy Wall Street. I don't know if you ever knew of this when it happened. Occupy Wall Street. There was a time in which, kind of like the Wall Street area in New York City, very, very big and bustling place, right? So many, like elite people go there. It's a center for America's economy, like a very big hub for America's economy, right? So you have, a group of huh? Well, that's another sort of that's a different movement. But this particular movement,
the World Century.
okay, yeah. So that's a different move. So that's another example. I was just talking about the Occupy Wall Street people, in which they all stood there, right? They're refusing to go. They're not fighting anybody. They're not punching people. It's not a riot. They're just refusing to go. They're going to be there, right? It's, for example, when your child who really wants that cell phone, you don't want to give them the cell phone, okay? But they come to you and they're just going to stay in your room. They're just going to sit there. like, I told you I wanted the cell phone. And you're like, why are you still in my room? Mom, allow me to talk about the different benefits of a cell phone. And they're still there. I do this to my mom a lot. That's why I know what this is. Even as an adult, I still do it. I'll randomly go and just sit in my mom's room. And she'll be like, why are you bothering me? I'm like, Mom, I'm not bothering you. I'm just,
Make some
can we
person.
just talk? Right? Just sit down. So really that's what it is. So all these different things, right, are creative, they're constructive. They produce that sort of tension that is needed, right? This drama, right? This drama produces that tension, okay? Because it makes you face it, right? All right. So, and just like we already mentioned before with the second question, why is tension important? So I've been hearing from Delani a lot. Can somebody else describe to me in their own words, why is tension important? In fact, we're going to do this. I'm going to go through everybody, and you're going to tell me in your own words, why is tension important? Jamie, we're going to start with you because you're the first person I see on my screen. Why is tension important? Jamie?
Yes, why me first?
Sorry, you're the first person I see. Why is tension important?
She tried to put tension on you.
That's right. Good one. Okay.
It's important for you because I want to answer.
I think, hey, use that same logic. Why is tension important to what they were doing?
Because it's more easy putting tension than not going to violent. Like
Say that again.
it's more important, like a brainwash.
So it hasn't gotten to the point of brainwashing. So what we're saying is this tension, this pressure, just like, for example, when your kid wants something from you and they keep on coming to you. Remember, it's non-violent. You're not fighting anybody. You just keep on pestering and you're there and you're there and you make your presence known. So why is this tension, this type of pressure? Why is it important to what they were trying to do with civil rights? Why was it important for them? Jamie?
Yes. It's me.
Okay,
Wait.
I didn't know if you were.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Remember why is tension important in the no-violent campaign?
I can come back to you. Let's go to Iris. I'm gonna unmute you. Hi, Iris.
Hi, hello.
Okay. Hi. So wanting you to answer the question, why is tension important to what they were trying to do?
Because they see themselves as the only option to make these people listen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like putting attention to them. It's kind of like forcing them to hear their complaints, and the reasons why they're doing this. So tension will help making some group of people listen to you. It's kind of like pushing. So
Yep.
it was very important and related to this case.
Yep, very good. Thank you so much, Iris. Mr. Van, I'll go back and unmute you. Sorry, because do you want me to keep you open, Iris, or do you want me to?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think without tension, the people in Birmingham know how to do it. So with
Don't know
this
how to do what?
tension, with this pressure, their mind will be open and they see what will be going on. So tension is important. That the king gives to these people attention, so it's good for them to think about the how to be going on and how to become and how they will get more important life than before. I think it's so important for them.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Mr. Van. Yes, it's very, very important so that they can actually see really how to fix the problem and what to do. Thank you, Mr. Van. Let's see who's next. Leslie.
Hey,
Hey, so why is tension important to what they were doing to their campaign?
because if they didn't, then like sorry, um
Okay.
uh then like how would like they will like know that like they're fighting, like and standing up for like their rights, and if they didn't make attention, then like who would hear the voice, like, and how they're gonna be able to like fight against what they don't like.
Yep, very good. Exactly. Who would hear their voice? How would they be able to fight against these injustices? What they don't like that's happening. Okay. Thank you very much, Leslie. All right, back to you, Miss Jamie. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? What?
Here, I'm here.
Ah, there you are. Okay.
Okay. I think because when they have tension, they can thinking more in the consequences. They If they don't have a dialogue, they can go everything out of control. So Dr. King is putting more tension before going like in a stray or something bad to the community.
Are you saying that he's trying to put more tension now so that things do not get out of hand?
Yeah, for the other Dr. King is trying to put more tension, and they are thinking if we don't put attention to those people, everything can be out of control.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I get that now. So if we don't do this now, if we don't put this tension now, everything could, spiral way out of control. I mean, things are terrible right now, but it can even get more terrible if we don't choose to act in this moment, right?
Yeah, because the mind go like more pressure. They put more pressure in the mind of the people,
Yep.
so the
Yep.
people
Okay.
go like scared to having something
Okay.
more bad. I think.
Miss, can I say
Maybe that's
something?
something that could happen to the other people. Maybe they could get scared. It is something that did happen during that time. The other people got scared, definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
something that they don't
uh,
want to happen.
mhm. Sorry, Delania, were you about to say something?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
My understanding why the pressure is important is because now, before the meeting was like in the association, closed door. Now, with this protest, it's open. Now we have everybody involved. We only have the meetings, we have people all over the world watching what is going on here.
Mhm.
And that brings pressure, a lot of pressure for those people who run that place. But it opened the eyes for the other people who haven't seen that the way it is. Because sometimes things happen in front of your face that you can't see. It needs to be something strong that's going to traumatize you. You're going to make some kind of movement. You're going to make you see exactly what is going on. You're going to see the true color, what is really going on. So doing this, acting the way they act, bring that tension, is open a lot of eyes for what is really happening. And it's going to bring them now on the table negotiation. For now, they are like the voice. Now, they're not like before, there was just hiding, doing some kind of deal behind the people knowing exactly what's going on. Now, this thing is open. Now we have a lot of weakness. Now we have a lot of tension. Now, whatever you commit in this time is getting for fear, for through. You're not going to be playing with me like a little child. Give me four hugs or just say something. Don't be behind your work. So that tension brings the opportunity to really have a deal and work what exactly what you're looking for, some kind of freedom. And a human rights job thing. So that pressure was the who brought this answer and brought that reaction. And for that reason, it was so important because with that pressure, they opened many eyes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Delania. You're right. Like the pressure really opened, like those eyes, and really similar to what you were talking about yesterday, and how, bringing to stuff what was hidden. Right, the first time they did it was behind closed doors. Now we're all gonna see it. Right. So thank you so much for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, you actually only have 2 questions that you are going to complete in addition with this summary. So I've already described this question to you. So what words and images does King use to describe the problems of racial injustice? So there's so many words that he uses there to describe this injustice that's going on. I can give you one example: bondage. One example that I could give you that you can use there. Next one. So what are these words? What are these phrases? What are these images? Because he's describing some things, and what do they show? And then the next question here is, how does King use a comparison to Socrates to support his claim? I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I'm muting some of you. It's just so that there's no background noise. But how does King use a comparison to Socrates to support his claim about racial injustice in Birmingham? So that comparison that he makes with that person, I told you, Socrates, who was that thinker, that ancient philosopher, the ancient Greek philosopher who basically challenged people to think through things and, like to see things for what they are. So how does that comparison that he makes between that person and what's going on, how does he use that to support what he believes needs to happen in Birmingham? How does he use that as an example to support what he believes needs to happen in Birmingham? Okay. And number 9, very simple. You're giving me a brief summary about what number 9 was talking about. So basically, what was this passage mainly talking about? What was this paragraph? Give me 3 sentences, you're good to go. Was this paragraph mainly talking about? Okay, and just down here too, you don't have to answer it. This place is just for you to have, like, if there are any notes or more questions that you have or something that's interesting that you want to put there. Okay, you can use it. All right, so I'm gonna unmute everyone so you can ask me if there are any questions you have. So are there any questions you have about this assignment?
My teacher, all the blanks, we have to fill up all the blanks to answer the questions, right?
Not all of the blanks. So you're only doing 1, 2, and 3. So remember, usually at the end of class, I will post the assignment with the questions, with the answers that we have done in class. Okay? So the only ones that you will answer are the ones that are blank. Okay?
And summary 4, is it, and this 4, right? The last one, summary.
So no, it's not this 3 because we already did this one. So it's 1, 2, and 3. So you only have 3 questions. It's this one, and then the summary. That's it. Only 3. Because I did this with you because this was hard. Jamie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, we had to wait for you until you fill the...
Yes, because I haven't posted it yet. So I always post it after the lesson with everything already written. Remember, your work is not due until tomorrow by 11:59. So I do have be posted latest early tomorrow morning. Okay, so you don't have
Okay.
to think about it until at most tomorrow morning. The best thing to do, just go look at it tomorrow. Best thing.
Okay. Then assignment for this today and today, right? 2 assignments.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and stop recording so that